So, you want to play Thunder Dragons. After all, the deck has access to two of the best boss monsters of the era, so it couldn't be bad, yeah? Truth is, despite having two of the hardest to out boss monsters of the entire era, the deck is a double-edged sword. Every matchup of this deck is either a free win or completely unplayable, there is no middle ground. Despite having good consistency, the deck is mostly monsters that are higher than level 4, which means that if it breaks, you won't have any board. The deck also has only one goal and is extremely telegraphed in execution, which can make the deck straightforward, but also very easy to stop. Oh, and you have access to Shifter, the only good deck of the format which can play it to its full potential. So what are Thunder Dragons? Thunder Dragons are a series of Chaos-themed Thunder monsters supporting the ever-so-famous Thunder Dragon, which was released all the way back in Metal Raiders. The archetype is mostly level 5 or 6, but there are also two important pieces that deviate from that. The first card is the very famous Thunder Dragon, which can discard itself to add up to 2 copies of itself from your deck. Gold format staple, it is absolutely mandatory in this deck due to its synergies with the boss monsters. The next 3 monsters all possess effects which cannot be each used on the same turn. Each effect can either be used from the hand as a discard, or if they are sent from the field to the graveyard, or, more importantly, banished. The first and probably strongest member of that trio is Thunder Dragon Roar, which can discard itself to recur back a Thunder Dragon card from grave or banishment. Its second effect allows you to special summon a Thunder Dragon monster from your deck. If you do not use it as a material, however, it will be bounced back to the hand in the end phase. The next card is Thunder Dragon Dark, which similarly to the original Thunder Dragon can add a copy of itself on the discard. And if it is sent from the field to the graveyard or banished, you can add any Thunder Dragon card from your deck. Some people think that this card is the strongest in the archetype due to all the options it gives you, while also being able to protect your boss monsters indirectly. The last of the trio is Thunder Dragon Hawk, which can discard itself to reborn a Thunder Dragon from grave or banishment. Its other effect allows you to reload your hand. This effect is not very strong and 90% of the time you would rather go for the first effect due to the utility and extension it provides. It's still a strong card which will be a part of most of your combo lines, but unlike the other two, you can get away with running less than 3 copies. The next card is the level 1 Thunder Dragon Matrix. It can discard itself on a quick effect to boost a Thunder Dragon by 500. And it adds a copy of itself if it is sent from the field or banished. This card looks bad at a first glance, but it is one of your main disruptions while being paired with one of the bosses, Titan. This card is not great, but it is still very mandatory at least 2 copies. The last monster is Thunder Dragon Duo, which can banish each one of the Chaos attributes from your graveyard to summon itself from the hand. This card is unusual as it has neither a discard or a floating effect. Rather, this card is pure aggro, with a 300 attack boost anytime any monster effect is activated in the hand, and adds any thunder from your deck after destroying a monster by battle by banishing a card from your grave. To top it all off, it can recycle banished cards, providing grind. This card is good, but you never want to see it in your opening hand. It's a finisher, so its effects rarely matter since both in terms of searching and recycling, there are much better options and faster options in the archetype. Run one. The only relevant piece of back row of the deck is the normal spell Thunder Dragon Fusion. It recycles your monsters that are banished or in your graveyard to summon a Thunder Fusion. On the following turn, it will rota for any Thunder monster from your deck by banishing itself. At the time, this was one of the strongest fusion spells ever printed. This card is one of the strongest grind pieces of the format since it can essentially recur itself by adding a copy of Roar with its second effect, allowing you repeated fusion monsters every single turn. Most people run 2. The first boss monster of the archetype is the ever so infamous Thunder Dragon Colossus. In all aspects, this card is a mistake of both design and quite literally having the same effect as the eponymous card Mistake, except it's not symmetrical. It can summon itself by tributing a Thunder monster if you use a Thunder's effect in hand that turn. That essentially makes it the Link 1 monster and probably the strongest one ever printed in a vacuum. This card is the biggest reason for the deck's success in TOS format, as it completely shuts down searching, which essentially kills the decks like Sky Striker nearly on the spot. Furthermore, the deck has the ability to put multiple copies on the board. It can also protect itself, not once per turn, by banishing a Thunder monster from your graveyard. How this card interacts with the opponent's deck would be what makes or breaks the matchup. Decks that don't care about its floodgate effect like Orcust will render it completely useless. The second boss monster is Thunder Dragon Titan, which can summon itself by banishing a thunder from the field and the hand, which is pretty easy to achieve. It can also chain to any of your thunder effects in hand to pop a card. It puts a lot of pressure on the opponent since if they do not want to lose a card, they have to chain an effect to every single one of your thunder effects in hand. It can also protect itself like Colossus by banishing 2 cards from your graveyard. As opposed to the former though, it cannot protect itself from battle destruction, only effects. So how does one play Thunder Dragons? Unlike Salad and Orcus, this deck does not really possess any real combo lines, but I will do my best to spreadsheet the deck. It is a control deck at this time of toss format, so your lines will be short and simple. How do you counter the deck? The easiest way is to either play Salad or Orcust. This deck does not really possess any real choke point and most hand traps will either trade negatively into effects or not matter. Use Ash on Dark's Rota effect rather than Wars, as the search usually nets them more advantage and extension. Lancea can be good against some of the deck's hands, but they can play around it, so it's not a foolproof answer. Infinite Impermanence can temporarily shut Colossus down during your own turn, allowing you to both deal with its protections and floodgate effects, which is probably your best bet if you're on a search heavy deck like Sky Striker. DD Crow on the fusion spell can be quite huge as it cuts them off one of their main grind pieces, but in general, Crow is quite useless in this matchup. Mind Control of their boss monster can be a very easy way to get rid of the boss, and is usually the preferred counterplay against the deck. The cards that are very impactful against the deck like Imperial Iron Wall and Dimensional Barrier are almost never played in toss format, so the deck's only real counters beside Mind Control are matchup based. Now, how do you build a deck? You run every level 5 and 6 monster in the deck at 3 copies as they are the bread and butter of the deck. Due to the lack of meaningful starters in the archetype, you have to play generic Thunder and Banish support, with Bettrim and Solar and Aloof Lupine being your best combo starters. You also obviously play Gold Sarcophagus due to being one of the most synergistic card with the archetype. Instant Fusion can bring out Kaminari Attack, which can be used to summon a Colossus. Due to being a banishment-centric deck, you can also run Dimensional Shifter along with the anti-graveyard floodgates like Di-Fi and Macrocosmos, as they give you some leeway into dealing with the bad matchups. You also obviously run Allure of Darkness for being a free pot of greed in the deck. Here is my list, which is as always a pretty standard list. I do not main Shifter as I found it can gut your grind and you want your Thunders engraved to protect your boss monsters. Other than that, it's a serviceable list. In all, Thunder Dragon is a very powerful deck kept in check by some very bad matchup. I mean seriously, I cannot stress enough how bad of a matchup the Orcus one is. Other than that, it is a simple deck which, like most control deck, has a steep skill curve. Thank you for watching as always and please like and subscribe as it helps the format and the channel to grow. The next guide will be focused on Sky Strikers, and will take a bit more time to make because of the unique nature of the deck. Stay tuned! Peace!